no fucking music. Do I get paid for this?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Freedom is a Freak, Guns Up. I'm your host, Sean L. Christ, and let me tell you what we got today. We have a special segment, and we got some bad news, but let me tell you what, it's going to end on a very good note, because I also have JC Knight, my partner in crime, joining me today, and sitting next to him is a very special guest. And let me introduce him right now, is William Bodette. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Sean, I'm doing just great. How about you, buddy?
Oh, I couldn't complain. If I did, no one would listen. So
yeah, I'm fucking amazing. Get on with the show.
So,
and you are a boot. Nobody would listen.
No, they wouldn't. Why should they? And for one thing, the reason why it is because I'm doing too many important things behind the scenes, taking care of everything else, doing the things, getting the hands dirty, doing the things nobody else wants to do.
You're a walking billboard of everything that's right.
What can I? You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That didn't come from me. That came from Gunnery Sergeant William Bodette. So, gentlemen, first of all, what brings you into the great state of West Virginia to sit next to that thing to your right?
Speaking of things, before we get started, look at that mustache ears. You need to stay away from small children until that thing grows out.
It's like you should be in like a black van, riding around passing out candy, you weirdo.
It's funny, I do have a black van. How'd you know about that?
Well, I know things.
I know you do. Well,
anyway, what brought me to West Virginia is the best infantryman that I know, the one that I have the most respect for, and the one that was always the most underestimated, but truly the honest to God professional, and the one Marine that I knew that honest to God cared about nothing but accomplishing the mission, but also with all his heart taking care of his boys. My best friend, JC Knight, right here. You know, I knew him when I was his instructor in SOI also.
That's what I heard. I heard you guys had a few things that you guys made each other with. So you guys made each other at SOI, and then you also made each other where else?
Well, so when we're at SOI, I remember being a young private walking around in the Verona Loop training area. And it was pouring the rain, and we had these big cotton sleeping bags. And there was privates strung out for probably 2 miles, or at least it seemed. You're a private, so you don't know shit, but you're miserable. So all these privates are dropping out, and I'm up there with the main pack, and he pulls up beside of me, and I say, "Good morning, Sergeant." He goes, "Hey, Knight." He goes, "You know, you want a piece of advice?" I'm like, "Yes, Sergeant." He goes, "Don't be a pussy." And I remembered that. That stuck with me. Fast forward years later, I'm a nasty sergeant, and I run into good Staff Sergeant Bodette at DI school. Good times there.
And then we became, we were drone soldiers together, and then we went to the both hallowed 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines. And we went to Afghanistan and Iraq together. And you were there too, dumbass, for both of them.
And now here's something funny with all that people don't know. We were talking about this today. So I show up a couple weeks after him, and I'm in my alphas, and no shit, I'm walking by the steps of the company office. And
when he was checking in.
When I'm checking in, and he happens to be outside putting a dip in.
He says,
Jason, he goes, "What the fuck you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm checking in." I listened to him walk in. He goes, "Stay right here and don't move." He goes and he tells the CO, he goes, "That fucked up platoon sergeant you got in 1st platoon, you need to move him, fire him, because that guy standing outside is going to be your new 1st platoon sergeant."
That's right.
He goes, "We need to go up and tell the sergeant major he's coming to Kilo Company. He's going to 1st platoon." They come back out to me 5 minutes later, go report to the sergeant major, tell him you want to go to Kilo Company and you want to go to 1st platoon. I'm like, "Well, very well. A boot staff sergeant's going to go up and tell the sergeant major he's going to Kilo 1st platoon." I did it, and lo and behold, the magic happened from then on out. So you can't make this shit up, and you know the rest is all history, man. Two great years, 2 great deployments together, man. Kicked a lot of ass, got to be associated with a lot of great Marines. It was the best 2 years I spent in the Marine Corps, man.
Yeah. Sure. 100%. When you got
not only that, that's when I got to meet the best machine gunner in the Marines 2nd Division, as reported by the History Channel. You can't make this shit up. Sean Christ, there he is.
People are looking at watching right now. People are looking to watch right now. You talk about Friday Night Lights. If you're looking for a varsity squad, you're looking at half it right now. You got JC Knight, you got William Bodette, and you got the man, the myth, the legend, SLC, Sean L. Christ. Woo! Man.
All right, let's take it down now.
Yeah. Now, I got a question, actually, JC. When you were checking into Kilo, did your orders specifically say that you were going to Kilo, or it wasn't decided yet?
No, you go to the battalion, and the sergeant major assigns you from there.
That's an amazing story.
And I seen him walking down the street holding all his orders and his alphas and shit. I said, what the fuck are you doing? Come here. Hold on. Stay right here.
Well, the first part of that story that he left out is that I'm sitting there in room 101 in the corner because remember we had the backside lot originally. So all of a sudden, I think it was a pickup truck opens up and there's this guy. And I'm standing outside doing something. He's like, hey, Marine, where's Kilo Company office? I was like, it's right over here. And then as soon as I said that, here you come walking up. And then it was like the meeting of two titans. It's like, JC, what are you doing here? And you're like, well, I'm here checking. He goes, you're just like, follow me. And then that was the end of that.
Well, I don't know if you realize this because I was supposed to go to 3-2, and the Perso called me on leave, and he goes, "Man, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're going to 3-6, the most fucked up battalion in the division." So I show up, and the first person I see is Bo. I'm like, "Well, fuck, at least I've got a brother here."
Right.
And it ended up being the best battalion in the Marine Corps, and I believe that wholeheartedly to this day. It was the best fucking battalion in our lifetimes that ever was or ever will be.
From 2000,
there were some legendary guys, and man, it was just a great place.
Now, from 2004, 2006, you couldn't touch us. We had all the rewards, and we had everything else. You couldn't. Squad comps, we always took it.
Yeah, we talked to General Alfred yesterday, and all this stuff came up. And to speak of the depth of like the morale, the proficiency, and the history, and just the good brotherhood that went on that battalion. Yeah. There's a Marine that lives here in my town. He was an Indian Company Marine. He came over yesterday and talked to General Alfred. It's just, it shows the depth of respect and how Marines felt about that battalion. He goes, if that general called me today and told me to pack my sea bag and go to war, I'd be all over it. I said, but I said, you share that with about 2,000 other Marines. There's a lot of Marines that feel that way. It was a great place.
There's a whole battalion. There's 545 of us from 2005 definitely feel that way. And also another 545 from 2004, same exact way. And that's all you talk about. I mean, hell, you saw him talk about your retirement. It's exactly what that was. He has an illustrious career. He had all these things, but where'd he spend the most of his time? Most of his time was spent talking about you and talking about all of us from 3-6. It's a magical place you can't explain.
Let me tell you something. My career in the Marine Corps, and I hate to say the word career, because if you ever hear anybody talk about they mention the name career, they will make decisions based upon their career, not based upon whether it's the right or wrong thing to do. I hate to say career. I hate that word. My time in the Marine Corps, the most treasured time that I have in my heart, not when I was a drill instructor or any of that shit, which was all important.
God bless you.
When I was go fuck yourself. But when I was in 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines as a fucking infantryman, that's the most special time in my whole goddamn time in the Marine Corps.
And Sean, it's not just us. You talk to any of the other guys that stuck around for 20 plus years, they will all tell you that their highlight of their time and that profession of being an infantryman was that time in 3-6. 100%. There's no doubt about it, man.
100%. Now, really quick, I want to get back on the topic that we were talking about.
Hey, real quick. You remember we were in Nagalon, and you were the first one to fire the fucking shots up on the hill, up on the. Remember you was on the OP.
It's 400 rounds cycle, baby.
Stetson Knight said, "Here we go, Gunny," and we can see tracers coming from your machine gun.
Yep.
Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember it. I remember it very well.
Oh, help me, Holy Ghost! Here we go.
Yep. And thus the legend of the best machine gunner in the 2nd Marine Division starts right there.
That's where it started.
So that's right there.
The shot heard around the world.
Well, shots, 400 rounds gone. Let's tell the story truthfully.
Yeah, no fire distance.
Well, no, it's because I was linking the belts together and I forgot I linked 2 cans together side by side before I went to bed. And sure as shit. Anyhow, we'll talk about that story in a minute. But
go ahead with your story. But anyway,
yes, sir. The reason why that we're actually on the podcast today is because we had planned to have a reunion, and I say those words "had." Okay, now listen up. We're not trying to cause any families to have any kind of any ill will toward each other or make people decide what to do. So the three of us got together and we talked about the reunion. So this is what we're going to do. We're not going to have the reunion this year. Instead, we're going to postpone it to the same time next year. So that gives plenty of time for people to recover with their finances, to plan for it, and to make sure that everybody can come that wants to come. And that is the whole point behind this. I do not want to have anybody that says, oh, I wish you could be there, and they couldn't be there. Because let me tell you what, we have some surprises that are set aside that are going to be fantastic. I guarantee you when you see it, you're going to wish you were there. So everybody that's watching us right now that was in 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines from 2004 to 2006, we are postponing it until next year.
In all seriousness, it could have been, still could happen soon, but with all this other bullshit that's going on, JC and and Chris, and they all made a decision that, unless everybody can be there, then we're not going to have it because of the bullshit that's going on around the world right now. So, because a bunch of people could make it, but not everybody could make it. So unless everybody can make it, then they're not going to have it. And I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Yeah, I think it would have been a mess. And again, I know this is going to upset a lot of guys, but hey, this is the right thing to do. And what I really want to capture everybody that's listening is when we first talked about doing this with Kilo Company, I started getting hit up by guys from India, Weapons Company, a few H&S guys. Didn't hear from many Lima guys, but the word was getting out there. I'm willing to bet you would have had 300 or 400 guys from 3-6 show up for a reunion. So I want that. I think we all want that. So to get max participation, I think we need to let the smoke clear a little bit and get to where we can all actually experience a little bit of brotherhood. So pushing this thing out is going to be the right thing, but this is not a cancellation. We know there's a great deep interest in this, so we're just going to simply postpone. We're going to make it happen.
We can blame it on the Kung flu.
Yeah,
the exactly. Chi-Com flu.
And in case you're wondering at home, I got
to be called racist.
Don't call me racist, but hey, go ahead. Seriously, I'm going to say, fuck the Chinese.
Jeez. So what I have right here is that I got pulled up. So next year, believe it or not, the days are still the same because the 11th of July is still on a Sunday. So you got Friday the 9th, you got Saturday the 10th, and July the 11th. So make your plans that way. If you want to come down Thursday night, hang out Friday, Saturday, leave Sunday, by all means do that because I know we're going to at least be there probably 2 weeks to a week early setting stuff up for everybody, and you're more than welcome to show up.
Yeah, I think right now going the week after would be great. The week after the 4th of July would be a great week to do it.
100%. We still got people that, it's not affecting people with kids because they're not going to start school until August something. If you got that family vacation or whatnot, you're probably going to do that beforehand. So 4th of July is kind of the medium point to where all this connects. So that's the time we're going to do it. So plan next year. We're saying it right now, official. Write it down, write it in stone. I don't care, but put it inside your brain housing group that we are going to have July 11th, 2021 is when we're going to have Kilo Company's reunion. And anybody that wants to come, the 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines from those years as well. It's going to be a big deal, I promise you.
Hey, it is going to be a righteous deal.
It will.
Absolutely.
Hey, so we got that out of the way.
Yes, sir.
How's your dad doing?
Oh, my old man, you know him. He's a living legend. Most people that meet him definitely want to hang out with him more than they do with me. It's just the way it is, and I've accepted that for my whole life. In fact, he wanted to ask me a question the other day. I was talking to him. You got brought up. He goes, you want any more Flaming Ronricos, which is 151 lit on fire? He wants to know if you're going to go out drinking with him again.
Listen, I seen your dad get set on fire by some fucking whore.
What? Actually, why don't you tell the story of how you first met my old man? Now, mind you, this is 2005. Never met him before. 2005. We're coming home from Germany. And you were on the advanced party, setting everything up for our boys to come back and have something very easy to transition to. Correct. So go ahead and take it from there.
I'm in the company office, and this guy walks up, and he's like, excuse me, are you Gunny Bodette? I said, yes, sir, I am. He goes, I'm called Chris Dad. You know I can get a beer at? I said, yes, sir, follow me. So I was supposed to get shit ready and everything. I said, fuck this. I'm going to go drink Chris Dad. Bring him to a bar and we get fucked up.
He says he
and his bartending horn and everything. I mean, we're drinking shots and we're so fucking hammered. And he's drinking the shit you lit on fire. What the hell is
the 151?
What is it?
Yeah, 151.
And your dad's talking to me, and it spills on his arm, and he's on fire. And he's still talking to me. And his chick, it's a fucking whore at the bar goes, pats him down, puts him out of fire.
You know the funniest thing about all this is a man asked William E. Bodette Jr. where he can find beer.
Well, he asked the.
Hey, but I got to tell you this about your old man. Your old man is a patriot, and he loves you so much, Chris.
I know.
And he loved Marines, and he was so fucking proud of you. And I could tell. That's why I said, yes, sir, I know exactly where we're going. And that's why I took him out drinking.
Well, that's why
I could tell. Oh, yeah. He loved you with all his heart.
Oh, yeah.
And he and me and him became good friends that day.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it. I was scared. I ain't scared of shit except for lightning and sharks.
Right.
And sometimes my mother. But, that was a good day.
Yeah. I'm sure he walked in the company office like he owned the place, like he's been there 1,000 times.
Well, get up to me. Walk right up to me like he's got the commanding general.
Where do I get a beer?
Yeah. Well, but he asked the man.
I thought I was in trouble. I got scared.
All 5'6" of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look here. They got pickled moonshine here in West Virginia. It has pickles in it.
Well, that's probably why they call it pickled moonshine. I'm not a rocket scientist or anything, or a chemist.
Well, you're a little slow. You're 31.
I understand. 31. I understand. All right, so
my favorite color.
Nope. The next thing, there's actually another part of that story to where J.C. Knight and William Bodette met back up at 3rd Battalion 6th Marine. There was we'll call him for a lack of better words, special Marine that had a little words to say about these so-called drill instructors coming and taking over Kilo Company, changing shit.
I know you know me. You're talking about sample.
So listen, for Marines,
they think we're going to change something.
So listen, for Marines that are out there that know Marine culture, so imagine this. Marines will stereotype drill instructors. I will go on record to say we're not stereotypical drill instructors.
I'm going to bring a picture up a sample here in a second. Keep telling the story.
Hold on. So no, but what's cool is you got two Marine infantrymen that are on DI duty that checked into 3-6 kilo. And we get pulled to go to a unit that is void of discipline, poorly led. 3-6 kilo was a shit show. We're walking through the fog to go do a health and comfort. And we happen upon a shitbird Lance Corporal with a gut, unpolished boots, cami top and bottom that doesn't match. And he is professing the gospel to his Lance Corporal brethren. Oh, I hear we got 2 drill instructors.
They're going to change something.
Checking in off the drill field. They think they're going to change something. They got another thing coming. And I kind of push through the fog, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? And he goes, I'm Lance Corporal Sample. I said, what platoon are you in? He goes, 1st platoon. I said, well, good. Guess what? That's Gunny Bodette, and I'm Staff Sergeant Knight, and I'm going to be your platoon sergeant.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And he's like, you know how he is. He's like, gets all fucking nervous. So there he is, Matt Sample.
Hey, but listen, in his defense, everybody, all the pieces fit together.
Oh,
am I right?
No.
You
can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other. And you're going to have to go with the bad.
And listen
they
right
all
here.
fit together.
And people can sit here and dog and say what they want. Let me tell you what. That man is a decorated sergeant, Marine infantryman.
Fuck with him because he tried to call us out.
Right.
Hey, but the bottom line is this. The best Marines in the entire world that I've ever been around in all of my whole time in the Marine Corps, because again, I don't say career, was that 2 years with you guys in Third Battalion, 6th Marines. Every fucking one of you.
Concur. Except fucking D-Bolt.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, fuck, no.
No, D-Bolt's okay. He's a great American.
Yeah, I was just say you can't have Matt Sample without your D-bolts. They're one and the same. They're one and the same.
No.
Look, hold on. Look, bottom line is, all their friends were back home smoking pot.
Right. Right.
D-Bolt, Sample, they were all there. They were all hanging and banging. So here comes the company gunny out of me, trying to be fucking, trying to settle down the fucking platoon.
I can't believe I'm bad cop because I'm the nice one. D-Bolt was just the guy that got my blood boiling. I can't help it.
Hell yeah, he got his blood boiling. but from D-Bolt to General Alford, it was the best battalion I'd ever been with. And to this day, I don't give a fuck when anybody says it was the best battalion in the Marine Corps.
Bar none, 100%. From those times, you're not going to argue with that. And the things we did, looking back at it, we didn't realize at the time what happened in Iraq. You look at Steel Curtain, that was the last offensive operation that pushed them out of Iraq into the other countries, which was crazy.
I know I made it 8 hours. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
I got shot in the back.
And who's got the one photo that happened literally 5 minutes before you got shot?
Yeah, you know what? I still got a bone to pick with you about it.
I know you do. I know you do.
You took a picture of me right before we launched.
Sure as shit.
I got mad. Just bad luck.
You did.
Yeah. A couple hours later, man, I was on a fucking Black Hawk, fucking blood, getting medevac. Matter of fact, I'm gonna beat your ass when I see you.
I know you. I know you're gonna try. You're gonna try. You and I both are gonna try. But everybody wants. You got your Judy Chop Marines. You're there in West Virginia with the Judy Chop Marine, the Dancing Outlaw.
Come on, JC, come on.
Look, right there, it's done. It's done.
Oh, it's funny. That's good seeing you two on here. Hey, let me go ahead and ask you a few other questions. So, we'll get back to talk about your careers and whatnot. But from when you guys been out here,
Listen.
Say your time in the Marine Corps.
Your time in the Marine Corps. Your profession. I like that better. Your profession. So we got a whole bunch of stories about your profession and Marine Corps and all that. But I know a lot of people, especially you, Bo. You're kind of off the grid a little bit. What the hell you been doing with your time? So what's your typical day like?
You know what I've been doing? Shelly, come here. I've been riding motorcycles, enjoying my life, and hanging out with my wife.
There she is. Look at that sweetheart.
No, it's whole life. I'm just kidding, baby. Come here, baby. No, come here, honey. No, when I left the Marine Corps, I was out of control a little bit. I met this woman, and she rescued me. So now I ride motorcycles and basically do what I want, as long as she allows it.
As long as she's allowed. So you tell her you wear the pants. So basically you tell her that, hey, I wear the pants in this family, but she's got to lay them out for you and tell you which ones to wear. Is that what it is?
That's right.
That's what I figured.
That's what I figured. Still write his name inside of his skivvies.
Look at JC over there smoking that peyote, but that cigarette lighter lit.
No, I wasn't smoking no peyote.
Right, a lighter.
I was playing some 80s metal. Just imagine it.
I hear you.
The ballads.
I hear you.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. I've been laying low, man. I just trying to keep it to myself, and I'm a miserable son of a bitch, but my wife, made that a lot better.
That's what's important, And actually, we were talking about that. How what happens that when you kind of get retired or when you leave the Marine Corps, how you transition back, and a lot of times, a lot of people have a hard time with it. I found happiness. I've changed. Bo's changed. There's one person that hasn't changed. That's the guy sitting next to you. I don't think you're ever going to change who you are you? You're not going to settle down 1 minute, are you, Knight?
Listen. I've always been the big engine that wasn't supposed to and couldn't. So I just keep trucking, man.
Did I not say that?
Yep.
Listen, I've always had JC Knight's back. He's always been underestimated. I'm telling you right now, he's the best infantryman and Marine that I know.
Always imitated, never duplicated. Woo!
Look, man, people just always said you can't. Well, I got you, pal.
Listen, he's almost as good as I was.
Are you talking about with looks or leadership?
Well, Dan, look, you got me.
Look.
You know what, man? No, honest to God story. Look, we've all had the ash chewings or had things that are, really direct said to us. We were on a rooftop when that Mark 19 went down in that first fight where you were up on the OP.
Okay.
And I was a machine gunner. Of course, look at my seed.
Right.
I taught Dave Childress. Dave Childress taught you I was good at machine guns. And that machine gun went down, and I wanted to go back to being the guy that fixed machine guns. And he grabbed a hold of me. He goes, JC, you're a motherfucking platoon sergeant. Go fight your platoon. And all those bad emotions from when a guy that you respect like runs through you, like I was mad, I was hurt, but it was like he's right. And I left the fucking machine gunner to fix the machine gun, and I ran off and I started to fight my platoon. It was the most constructive, direct statement anybody's ever made to me, and I've lived by that the whole time I was an infantryman, all the way to when I retired as a gunner, man. And I credit him for that, man.
That's a fact. When you were fighting, and the machine gun was down, JC's fucking around with this machine gun. I said, JC, go fight your platoon. You got 0331s here that can fix this gun. Go fight your platoon. He looked at me like I had a purple dick growing out of my head. And he disappeared in the darkness. And he went and fought his platoon because his platoon commander needed that. And his Marines needed that.
Right.
And, I'm not bragging about that, but that was a serious moment in our lives.
No.
And I think that's when JC really became a platoon sergeant. And not just having a platoon and he used to be a machine gunner.
Right.
He became a fucking platoon sergeant.
In that moment,
needed them, Marines needed them, and I don't, and I'm not taking credit for that because I don't know why I said that, but I just knew it needed to be said.
No, I understand 100% what you're trying to say. Yeah, pretty much in that moment, you train with everybody for what? We trained for about a year. And then we did all this crap together. But that was the first time we were actually in combat when the shit hit the fan. That's when you actually became a man, in my opinion. Because it's what you're preaching what you've basically been doing. And for me, go ahead, JC.
You go ahead, buddy. You finish.
And for me, because everybody's got their, their moto tests, their EGAs and all that stuff. And, these guys have moto tests before they go into boot camp, after boot camp. And I always told myself, and I always told everybody around me, they're asking me, when do you get some ink? I go, I haven't earned it yet. I didn't get mine until we got back from that deployment. And because for that deployment, you can argue me to the day you're blue in the face, you're not going to change my mind. Being a part of the Nagalam platoon and attachments that was at that FOB with those Green Berets, that was absolutely the A team. That was varsity. That was anybody who was everybody. Because
that was the best. That was
You will never see that again.
No, because
that was the best infantry tactical level education that a company grade officer, an NCO, or a staff NCO could ever get.
Listen,
we were left alone to fight bad guys in Indian country.
Listen, and I don't give a fuck. I'll tell this to anybody. The best platoon sergeant in the Marine Corps is my best friend, JC. There's no fucking day. I see them do it.
Thank you.
And I'll give a shout. I'll even give a shout out to the with platoon commander. We had little Stevie Ray. I mean, he was amazing as well.
Absolutely. Listen.
We didn't have any bad. Look, we had great Marines, man. And you know what speaks volumes to the Nagalam experience? 75% of the guys that fought out of Blessing were 75% of the guys that fought with that platoon in Iraq.
Yep.
There was that level of brotherhood, man. That was varsity level. If there was ever a shining moment in my 22 and a half years in the Marine Corps of what right looked like, that was what right looked like.
Yeah.
No, it's
that was straight Marine Corps right there. That was Marine Corps infantry.
No,
no doubt about it.
No, and that's
amazing, man.
I was proud of it. I was part of it.
Humble, thankful to be part of it.
Oh, 100%. And I still tell people all the time, even, the 13 years I was in, you guys over your plus 20 years, you still come back to it because it just meant that much.
No, I'm still mad. I mean, I'll still beat your ass.
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. But you're looking at
Listen, right now I have a fantasy. I want to choke you out.
Oh, get in line, son. Because if you want to try the title, you first gotta wait for JC Knight to get through it, and then maybe if I want, I'll throw you a little piece of the action afterwards.
Hold on. I tell you, it's like I learned from my good friend Ric Flair. I may be the oldest ride, but I have the longest line.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Until you met Shelly, and then that ride was closed down for life, right?
Hey, as he has spoken earlier in our discussion, hey, it's a lot easier to jump on JC Knight than it is to jump off.
It's the weirdest thing you ever said. Were you toasting to that? That's funny.
Hey, because me or JC jump on you, you ain't going to say, oh my God, get off. You're going to say, y'all get off. It's going to be like a fucking platoon strength.
It's going to be like the horseman on dusty roads.
Absolutely. That's what it is. That's what it is.
They'll see you next week at 6:05 on the Superstation with a cast and a Band-Aid on your head.
And an eye patch, don't forget.
Yeah.
Hey, for life.
That's right. So we'll go back to telling some other stories here. Like I said, you that are watching at home, if you're
poor Christ trying to be professional, but we're on the win.
He can tell us to fuck off.
Yeah. Those that are still watching this, hey, this is just basically a podcast. We're out here. You don't see us that often. Like I said, those two together. If you haven't seen it, this was your first time. It's enjoyable, and the best thing about it is that even through all the years and all the stuff that you've been through, when Marines get together, telling stories, talking about the old days, it's like something else. It's not like talking about your old high school days, your old college days, or anything like that. These are stories that you tell these to people that haven't experienced this, and their eyes are about this big because there's like, how the hell did you guys do that? We did it because we had to do it. We didn't have a choice. And no matter whether the times were dark or the times were shining, we loved every second of it. And not to, and here I'll say this real quick, and it's not to bring a somber moment, but and I maybe should have gave you guys a bit of warning, but it's got to be said because this basically tells you the caliber of Marines you're looking at right now on the podcast to my right. Okay, you got JC Knight and you got William Beaudet. So obviously, the Iraq deployment, we lost a hell of a Marine, Norman Wallace Anderson, and that hit everybody hard, and it was unexpected, obviously, like anything like that would be. But if it wasn't for those two right there was a pivotal moment where we could have shut down, we could have been fearful, we could have pretty much, stopped the momentum that we had. And in that moment, I remember specifically Beaudet pulled everybody in a circle right after it happened, and we said, get back on our horses, get back out there, and keep doing our jobs. And that speaks volumes. And the same thing with JC Knight. I was right there. It was 100%. I remember people. I'm not trying to. I'm not gonna say any names or anything like that. But I mean, people. A lot of emotions were gone. People were just shell shocked. People were just.
Look, man. Do you think I didn't want to just go fucking destroy?
Right. Right.
But we're professional infantrymen.
But
yeah, man.
And we're better than them scumbags.
And listen, I've got to go back to that. And I look. Again, we stuck around for 20 plus years, and a lot of times, look, all of us call it PTSD, call it combat stress, shell shock, call it what you want. We're all different for what we've went through.
Right.
But I will tell you, because of the way that the professionals in that platoon, not just Gunny, not just me, but a lot of the professionals in that company that had seen war before, it was, you owe it to men like Norman Anderson, who died saving his brothers. That's the most Spartan, honorable fucking thing a warrior can do.
Spartan honorable.
Yeah. Right? We owe it to him to live a good, purposeful life.
Look,
okay?
We're better than them. We're better than.
So if we were to go native and act like a bunch of fucking fools, I mean, that wouldn't have produced any success. But we rallied and we came together and we honored his memory by doing things the right way. And I will always look back at that and the level of professionalism, not displayed by captains and gunnies and staff sergeants, but my lance corporals and corporals to act like fucking warriors, man. Goddamn, I'm so fucking proud. I could just, Saunders, Childress, Christ, Thornton, Ringgold,
Taddy.
The list goes on. The list goes on. Bill Fairfield, Mark Cronenberry, Jose Murillo, Weldy Sylvain, Choppy, Oris Lively, all those guys, man. I mean, Paris, I could go on and on. For God's sakes, Jimmy Reynolds. Those guys went out there and carried themselves like professionals, man. I couldn't be prouder.
It's great, Christ. I call you Christ, but your real name is Chris.
It's so weird, like going to college and hear people call me Chris. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, I guess that's my name, sure. Because for years I introduced myself and it was like, is your name Christ? It sure is. Just go on.
But like I traveled to West Virginia to be with the gunner here.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
why do you think I traveled to him? Because I wanted to drink beer in his garage.
that's part of it, but probably the main reason you did it because you get a chance.
Absolutely 100.
Right.
Don't interrupt me there, fucking mustache.
No, and that's the thing. That's why we do what we do. We take the time of our days, the time of our lives to stay in contact with our individual Marines, individual people we serve with.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see you, Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me.
I will tell you, man. I will tell you.
I can't wait to see you,
I think about any time we can reunion and get together. When we got to go see Taddy at his 40th birthday, to see the look on his face was I carried that happy moment with me, even to this day. If I want to get in a good, if I need to get, I'll watch that moment.
When we flew to Detroit,
I had to pick him up in the combat zone of Detroit,
and I was drunker and shit.
Dude, Detroit's so nasty and dilapidated. We're driving and trash flew up and got stuck on my windshield. With machine gun fire in the background. We stopped at a convenience store. They had the bathroom locked. They had no bathroom. Had to piss in the parking lot.
We're driving to Detroit. Me and JC from West by God, Virginia.
Yeah. They probably didn't know whether to shit or wine they were watching when you guys walked into that bar. Because obviously you guys stood out. I'm sure there was an 80 Medals T-shirt and probably cowboy boots worn by some of them.
No. We both had snakeskin cowboy boots on.
Of course.
Listen, when you've made it in life is when you show up with a $700 pair of snakeskins and a $7 Motorhead shirt on, and you could give a fuck what anybody else thinks.
Right.
But to see the look on Dave Taddy's face, and listen, I'll go on record here. That is the toughest Marine infantry NCO I had met in my entire 22 and a half years in the Marine Corps. That is the hardest motherfucker I've ever met.
Do you want to know what's something else?
He's almost as hard as I was.
But you want to know
what's tough, man.
What's crazy about that is that that's all everybody reminds that people think Taddy is, and the thing about Dave, they're like, oh yeah, he was this, he was that, he was tough, he was nails. He was also one of the smartest son of a bitches you've ever met. Just talk to him.
College educated.
You just talk to him.
Hey, listen. He was supposed to get out after Afghanistan.
Right, he was. Yeah.
And he extended to go to Iraq with his boys.
Yes, he did. And I always laugh when people sit there and look at grunts. They're like, oh, you guys are the dumbest of the dumbers. No, we're all shades of life. And the thing about it is that you can take a grunt and put it in any job in the Marine Corps. What you can't do is take someone in another job and put it in infantry.
Talk about you for a second. So how things going with you there, Corporal Chris, the best machine gunner in the 2nd Division?
Yeah, you're getting educated.
Yeah.
I tell you go to school, you living in Arizona?
Yeah, right now, for me, I started my 2nd semester of college. We're getting ready to get done here.
You ain't got a tan. What's going on?
What's that?
You ain't got a tan.
Oh, hell no. Well, first of all, being in Arizona doesn't mean you're going to have a tan all the time because, it's 112 degrees, which is fantastic. You want to be outside, but you got to do other things as well. So, for me right now.
So when do you come to West by God?
Well, we're planning on doing that hopefully sometime soon. And I know for a fact.
Why you out here if you don't want to be a pussy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen anytime soon, to tell you that. But I know for a fact. Well, because I
don't care about you. How about your dad? I'll fly your dad out here.
Hey.
My dad will come out there tomorrow if you want him to. You know that for a fact. In fact, one of these days we're going to have to try and get down to Florida. We're going to drive up to see you. You're only about 2.5 hours away from us.
You think I want to let anybody know where I live? Are you an idiot?
Well, I'm not going to say where it is. I know where you live, though. And you know who else knows where you live is Matt Sample. He's been in your house.
I moved to Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, things are going good. Myself, lady Jenna, we've been together for 2 years now. Things are going great. She's kicking ass at the sheriff's department.
Great dancing.
She's a fantastic dancer. That's why I had to make her famous. Just man, look at you two. You two met me. You two are famous. She met me. She's famous. It's like everybody that meets me just becomes famous.
Did you snapshot us?
I
No,
can't.
he's looking at her in the corner like that.
She was talking shit in the corner. but no, everything's going well for us. Just basically trying. It took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. And through the grace of God, I've had a great life. Everything's going on down here. Decided to pull the trigger, move to Arizona, and
Check this out.
things gonna be better. What is that? What is that drink with the still on there? What is
We're
that?
going to take a time out for our sponsors and the fine people at the Jack Daniels Distillery in Tennessee.
Hey,
and the single barrel select.
Hey, in the words of Ricky Bobby, if you don't like whiskey, fuck you.
And look at this from the Gunner Canteen Cup.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
See, that's the other thing. I'm going to take it right now. You can tell old school grunts. You can tell You can tell old school grunts because here's the thing: anytime whiskey, alcohol is gonna be drunk, especially when there's a group of us, it's gonna be drunk in one way and one way only. Actually, rephrase it: 2 ways. It's either gonna be drunk out of a canteen cup or it's gonna be drunk out of somebody's severed leg. That's the other way it's gonna be drinking.
Listen, we have been known to drink whiskey and beer out of an amputee.
100%.
Lieutenant, I drank beer out of a fucking fake leg.
A sweaty fake leg.
100%. It's the only way to do it.
Hey, I appreciate his alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just some old school stuff. So, you're still watching this. You just got a bunch of guys on here. 2 old school combat vets just basically shooting the shit. We're all talking out and having a good time. And,
hey, Sean,
yes, sir.
I hate to tell you this, but at this point, you're like an old school combat vet. So
You are an old school combat vet.
Yeah.
Who the fuck you think you are, bitch?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're going to these old school combat vets because they got beards.
Well,
10 years ago, when you stepped into the Korengal Valley as the 2nd Marine Division's best machine gunner.
Right. All I'm saying,
He's the one that started the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I started the war. No, but all I'm saying is that I'm in a.
You started the war.
All I know is that there's a lot of 36-year-old combat vets out there, and let me show you this. Oh, there's only a few that got a mane like mine. Oh, all natural, baby. Woo!
That's process, man. I swear to God, that's how this goes too. When we looked out there, was that up here you're on, Christ?
It wasn't Avalanche. It was Comanche. Yeah.
Gracie said, "Here we go, Gunny. Here we go." And I see the pressure's going. I said, "Christ is up there, fucking shit up."
Do you remember that night? It was the patrol you were on with Murray's squad. Me and Christ, you were getting hit from a mountainside. Me and Christ did talking guns with 50 cals at about 1,800 meters. We jumped on those 2 gun trucks, and you were fighting them, and we suppressed with 50s. And me and Christ could watch the arc of those 50 cal rounds. And
here we go, talking about the machine guns. Here we go.
That's where he taught me how to use a machine gun.
No, that
was cool.
I tell you what, that wasn't. All kidding aside, that was. We talked about it here on the podcast before, but that really was the moment of my career.
Hey, you still have the podcast now, or are we still live?
Well, we're still going live.
We're still live. The thing about that moment was where you had a lance corporal who basically said I want to do something, and you had a senior staff sergeant that looked at him and said, "I trust you, and do your thing. I got your back," and that's what we did. You never heard that. You never heard that before.
I was a good staff sergeant, but thank you.
Listen, I knew Staff Sergeant Knight had it. I knew it. I knew it.
Good times, man. Good times.
I'm trying to think.
Hey, listen, let me tell your audience something right now. You know what I hate about whiskey?
What's that?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, shit, gentlemen. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Is there any other stories you want to kind of tell us behind the scenes, some of the stuff we didn't know about? Any stuff you
what's something we could talk about?
any stuff you haven't released to the
what?
public. Any stuff you haven't released to the public. Maybe that after all these years, maybe it's okay to talk about.
I
Everybody's not
feel
retired.
JC to be humble, but know you're the shit.
There.
That's always a
So
classic.
JC, you're a bad motherfucker. And I said, but just gotta stay humble, but know you're the shit, and figure that out.
I can let one out of the bag that the public might laugh at if they
Hold
get
up, it involves me.
It does a little bit, but it's good.
God damn, I'm gonna be a congressman.
No. No, look. So we talk about the Marine Corps mystique out there, and people want to get a good laugh for anybody that's still listening about the shenanigans that went on in Kilo 36. Let's talk about the war between me and Lieutenant Luke Hardison.
No,
Oh, Jesus.
In here. I don't think we should. Because he ain't here, I don't know about that. We ain't going to say nothing about that.
Anybody that's watching the podcast right now, if you got Luke Harrison's phone number, go ahead and instant message me, and we'll try and get him and JC in a room together.
Hey, no, we've let the cat out of the bag.
I'm not going to say nothing about that, but JC put his cock and balls in his coffee cup.
Okay, so here we go. So, Christ, you remember this. So we would get ready to go on patrol, and the good company XO, Lieutenant Luke Hardison. Luke, if you're out there listening, I'm going to tell the story.
Hey, don't, man.
So at the time, I had some really flowing locks. Not so much now, but at the time I had a beautiful pelt of hair. So anyway, I've got my magical comb. If you remember my comb, I'd comb my hair.
You did?
We're doing a mission brief, and he pulls out his camera and he goes, "Oh, hey, Staff Sergeant Knight, I got some pictures of where you're patrolling today." I said, there he goes. I said, "Great, sir." I said, "Let me see the pictures." So he starts scanning through, and all of a sudden he shows me a toilet seat. Then there's a toilet seat with my comb on the toilet seat.
Oh.
Then there's a picture of my comb stuffed in his pubes as I'm combing my hair.
It was unprofessional, and I had to stop all that shit.
Yeah, good order and discipline. So I'm like, I'm infantry platoon sergeant. At this point, I've been the platoon sergeant that went up into the corn gall. So
I don't think we need to talk about that.
So no, we do got to talk about it because it's going to make me feel better and it's going to ease my PTSD. So then I've got to get revenge. Who better to go to when you want to fuck somebody up and make them feel bad? Go to Dave Childress.
Yeah, and then he asked me for backup, Gunny.
So Childress somehow got an Elvis mask sent to Iwo Jima.
That was my Elvis
And
mask.
it was your Elvis mask?
Yeah,
So
I saw
I
the
said,
picture.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yep.
Hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go take a piss. So I got my stand-in for me. I got my stand-in for me.
So
There she
anyway, my new co-host, Shelly Bodette. So anyway, the lieutenant is drinking out of this UNC coffee cup every time he does a brief. And you ever seen the Looney Tunes where the light bulb comes on? It goes, pfft.
Yeah.
The Looney Tune comes on and boom, light bulb explodes. I said, Childress, I am going to make a jock strap out of the UNC coffee cup while wearing the Elvis mask, and you're going to film me streak naked across the camp with the coffee cup as a jock strap. He goes, "That's a hell of an idea, Staff Sergeant." I said, "That's what we're going to do." So we kidnap the coffee cup. I fashioned a jock strap out of some tape, put the Elvis mask on, and I go sprinting. Childress says, "Halt, who goes there?" And he zooms in on my crotch, and all you can see is North Carolina Tar Heels. So we're doing a mission brief. And the good lieutenant's like, "So what's going on, so on and so forth?" And I said, "Hey, funny you ask. I've got some pictures for you." As he's drinking his coffee from his North Carolina coffee cup, he says, "Who is that masked man?" He made a jock strap out of my North Carolina Tar Heels coffee cup. So time goes on, and he's pissed because he thought that was pretty good. I'm in the gym. This young lieutenant decides I'm out there jacking some steel, and he comes over and he gives me the good old tea bag. Okay?
You mean
Wait.
I vaguely remember you were on the bench, right? And he just comes over and just doop, and that was it, right?
Yeah, he dropped him and ran like a scare, like a small dog.
I remember that.
So at this point, listen, that's you, officer enlisted relationship. You do what you got to do. But the young lieutenant declared war at that point.
War
So,
war
in
has been declared.
retaliation, war has been declared, and I went and found one James Laddie Reynolds,
Oh boy.
also affectionately known as Jimmy. Jimmy owed me for a number of dirty deeds, and the fact that he was always in trouble with me for some kind of hygiene-related bullshit.
Right.
So I tell Jimmy, I said, listen, you're going to help me get revenge on the XO because you owe me. He goes, I'm going to jail. I said, I absolve you of all responsibility, and you can blame everything on me. He's like, what am I going to do? I said, you are going to strip naked, and you are going to go get in the XO sleeping bag. He's like, I'm going to jail. I said, nope, I got you covered. At that point, I had to lure the XO away from the CP. So I went and got Taddy and Wheeler. And I said, you need to go tell the XO that the gunny's looking for him. They were Marines running like, hey, sir, the gunny's looking for you. Meanwhile, I said, Jimmy, get in the fucking XO sleeping bag. There goes Jimmy in dirty-ass, hot Iraqi weather and slips into that sleeping bag naked. Lieutenant shows up to see the gunny. What does he say, Gunny?
He said, hey. He said, they're looking for you. And the XO was like, what? And he hauled ass because he knew something was going on.
He knew something was afoot.
And I followed the XO right into his hoot, and there was nasty Jimmy laying in the XO.
Now imagine this, a dirty-ass Lance Corporal in your sleeping bag and you're a lieutenant. And Lance Corporals are good about giving the appropriate greeting and not being nasty. Jimmy got up with military discipline, gave the lieutenant one of these, and walked out naked.
As he should have.
And was reading his book.
And was reading the lieutenant's book, Killing Lincoln by Bill O'Reilly. I can't make this shit up. And the lieutenant looks at me. He goes, you know what the lieutenant said to me? You know what this Marine officer had an nerve to say to one of his staff? He said, God damn you, Staff Sergeant Knight, I hate your fucking guts. He goes, you hit me with a nuclear strike. He goes, there is nothing I can do to overcome this. He wouldn't speak to me.
Right now, watch this. Hey, watch this. Well, hey there, Corporal Crooks. How have you been doing? Tell me about you guys. What have you been up to?
That's how.
Tell a little bit more what's going on in Arizona. I mean, I hear you got great things going on down there.
You spent way too much time with Hardison. That's to a T. That's how he talks to you. Hey, tell me about you doing.
I feel like I should have sucked my dick right there. Fucking weirdo.
But no, it was all in good fun. But you know what? The funny thing about all that is, at the end, yeah, we were a little pissed at each other. But you can't tell me that didn't ease stress and make Marines laugh.
No, well, that's the thing about being a Marine, about being a military general. It's just that, like, when somebody does something like that against you, they're waiting for the retaliation.
You don't know the position that put me into.
Oh, I bet it did.
So, okay, I got my best friend, a platoon sergeant, staff sergeant, and then I got my XO acting like fucking jackasses.
Well, you were his boy, Luke, and you were pretty close for a minute.
Everybody's boy, shut your mouth, hippie.
But you know what was funny at the end of all this is when the battalion commander comes out and he's like, "You won't believe what Staff Sergeant Knight."
Those are my boys.
But you know what's funny? The BC comes out and he goes, Hardison got everything he deserved. It was like the BC was even in.
Right. He had no friends.
Look, every one of you motherfuckers are my boys.
Right.
Need I say anymore?
No.
Hey, man, look. Hey, lucky and privileged for that experience, and it shows in who my friends are today, man. Are the guys that are in my platoon and Bo. Those are the guys I spend my time with. So.
Well, that's exactly right.
Thankful for that, man. More than you know.
Oh no, 100%. And like you're the one specifically that always said.
What's been going on?
We're going up for 53 minutes.
Well, you about ready to wrap it up? You got anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. Like I said, this is just for a special treat. We're just shooting from the hip on this podcast.
Tell me about your life.
I told you about my life. Pretty much just getting ready to start my second career. Hopefully.
You have a motorcycle?
Kidding me? Absolutely. Is the water wet? Of course I have a motorcycle. Never had mine. Had I had a motorcycle since I was 18 years old. Of course I did. The other thing is that there's something I do want to bring up. I heard a little birdie. We got some sponsors.
Are you still doing like porn?
Every once in a while. Yeah, that's how I paid for all the studio.
That answers the mustache.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the mustache.
Yeah, I go and name the French tickler. That's the stage name I use. But for our sponsors, we do have a sponsor. We're just going to go ahead and throw them out there. JC, why don't you go ahead and tell me who sponsors us today with their little bit of a little tool they go there.
I don't want to throw my back out, but our good friend Kurt Delia out of the great state of Michigan, Bill Bodette's college roommate, maker of the Delia Raptor tool, the 5-in-1. We've got a doorbuster. We've got a pry bar. Look at this magical thing.
Now listen, the guy that made this, invented this, was my college roommate. I went to the Marine Corps. He went to the sheriff's department. But you know I don't like cops.
Why is that?
Well, because they pick on me.
Yeah, I heard they try to take your fun away, from what I hear.
No, but seriously, now this tool right here, the Delia Raptor, it's got everything on it. It's got a ram. It's got a sledgehammer. It's got an axe. It's got the hooligan tool. It's got everything on it.
So for our infantrymen, our MPs, combat engineers, and all of our first responder types, imagine that the hooligan kit we carried in Iraq that took 5 pieces.
Right.
All in one at 20 pounds, and you can make magic with this thing. So anything that I can't smoke with a Carl Gustav, I can finish up with the Delia Raptor tool. So Kurt, we're here to support you, and you go ahead and take a good look at the Delia Raptor tool when you're out there looking online.
When you have the Delia Raptor, it's easy, right? It ain't that heavy. All you can do is hand it to your old lady. Done deal.
There you go, Kurt. Here's a little free advertising from you and us boys over here at Freedom Isn't Free Guns Up. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, Knight.
Because it's the real deal.
That's a good
Sean Price, man, I got nothing here, brother. Hey, thank you for spending time with us this evening, and great to catch up with you while Bo's up here with us.
Oh, exactly. Like I said.
Listen, I appreciate you spending time with me too. I'm not sure I don't like the name Chris.
No, it's very weird. Trust me, it's not who it is. It's not who it is at all. So,
I like that Chris. I like that Christ.
That's right. That's right.
I say Christ too.
Everybody does, and as I said, if you know me, I'll answer whatever. But hey,
Christ, am I going to get a check for this?
Are you gonna get a check? No, but you can check yourself before I wreck yourself. You understand?
You go fuck yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, again, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you watching this.
Christ.
If you're still here, go ahead, Bo.
Hey, Christ, we love you.
Absolutely, that goes both ways, 100%. So, like I said,
you love me back, bitch.
I love you too. I love you too, Bo. I love you too, JC.
Hey, I love you too, Sean. You be safe out there, brother. Semper Fi.
Don't be safe. Take chances.
That's right. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're still watching it, we appreciate it. Like I said, we shot from the hip. We got just a couple of infantry Marines out here to shooting his shit and give you a little bit of stories about who they are and what they're about, and that's what we love doing here. So, with all that said, everything going on, famous. Exactly. Be safe out there. You take care. God bless, and Semper Fi.